Hey guys, welcome back to my video. Today we're going to be reacting to something different. Something special, something I've been wanting to react to for a very long time actually. If you happen to see my community poll, you would know it is the SCP reaction. Which one, you may ask? Well, it would be the Unbeatable Beast, SCP-682. Since this was not a suggested video, I didn't know exactly who would be reacting to the SCP, so I did this for me. Some of you do not like my voice. It is understandable, but calling it annoying makes it very annoying to me as well. So I have decided to voice over all of my characters who are reacting to the videos. To, annoy the people who are already annoyed with me. Since I'm not a professional actor and I'm a one-woman channel, I'm gonna use autotune on my voice. With that being said, I have all the components for the reaction. With all the necessary steps, let's get to it. Hello, Demon Lords. I know you know me and I know what is going on. You'll be reacting to a video, but it's gonna be a tiny bit different. It is going to be like a game. In your hands there's a paper saying yes and no, and you'll be reacting to a indestructible monster battling countless numbers of creatures, and you'll be choosing if those creatures can beat the indestructible monster or they can't. You'll be guessing that, and I'll be taking points on who gets it right. And by the end of this, whoever gets it right most wins a basket of candy.
Yes, finally. I'm going to so win. Afterwards, I'm gonna get candy.
Calm down, Milim. I know you're excited for the game, but if you get too excited and cause a fuss, she may not let you play anymore.
SCP-682 versus a ton of liquid nitrogen. After trying and failing to kill SCP-682 via anomalous means, Dr. Carlson wished to return to basics and try some non-anomalous murder methods for bringing an end to this nasty lizard.
Isn't that kind of backwards? I mean, if the strong SCPs cannot defeat them, then how are they supposed to defeat them with basic methods? It doesn't make sense.
The 682 tissue sample was successful. It was frozen and shattered when struck with a hammer, exactly as intended. However, when 682 proper was doused with liquid nitrogen, its body remained frozen and dormant for about 10 minutes. Then it began increasing its body temperature until it was thawed. But it didn't stop there. It kept increasing its body temperature until it was so hot that the walls of the containment chamber began to melt. Dr. Carlson noted, interesting. It retained the adaptation even after it was no longer necessary. Maybe we should be more careful.
For a moment there, I truly thought that basic method is going to beat the unbeatable beast. Now that would have been quite the shame for the beast and us who took the time to watch.
We have 1 point each now. We're starting off strong.
SCP-682 versus SCP-294. The hard-to-destroy reptile versus the coffee machine. Could this supernatural Keurig brew up a final victory over this ordinary reptile?
A coffee machine. Is this a joke? Like, aren't you supposed to show me creatures or something?
This is a special coffee machine. It can dispense anything, any kind of liquid. I'll humor you for a moment and say yes that the coffee machine can destroy the unbeatable monster. I only told you that this coffee machine was special, nothing else. I didn't tell you that this can defeat or cannot defeat the unbeatable monster. Now please give your vote.
researchers got the machine to dispense SCP-682 Killer and poured it onto a tissue sample. The sample crumbled into a fine powder when it made contact with the liquid, so they cumulatively brewed up a liter of the stuff and poured it on the actual SCP-682. The affected areas decayed and crumbled just like in the test, and when SCP-682 was placed back into its acid tank, the areas completely dissolved. The researchers felt incredibly hopeful, believing that if a large enough quantity of SCP-682 Killer can be synthesized, it may actually live up to its name. We'll let you know as soon as they try it again with a Venti order. SCP-682 versus SCP-923. Can this terrifying mind-melting satellite finally drive SCP-682 off the edge? Foundation
A mind-melting machine. Not bad, I guess.
SCP-682 heavily and took it out to an isolated field in Kansas in order to find out. SCP-923 fired down at 682 with its beam set to intensity level 75, known to have devastating effects against the minds of its victims. When the blast was unleashed, 682 began screaming and howling obscenities at the sky and the Foundation. Then its body began to adapt, growing glowing nodes that fired out its own beams similar to SCP-923's blasts, driving the observing Foundation employees insane. The test was considered such a failure that one of the lead researchers on the SCP-682 termination project threatened to do something redacted to whoever organized it. SCP-682 versus extremely high temperatures. Could the monstrous hard-to-destroy reptile finally be roasted to death in a superheated room?
Looks like we're back to basic methods. On the bright side, we can be sure of what our answer is gonna be.
Researchers at the SCP Foundation hope so. They locked it in a special chamber and increased the temperature to truly immense proportions. But rather than melting, as the researchers had hoped, it developed a carapace of solid helium, which defended it from the heat. Even worse was that the carapace remained in place, even as the room was reduced back to safe temperatures. When personnel were sent in to inspect the creature, the carapace abruptly shattered and exploded all over the room, shredding everyone nearby. 682 had baited its victims inside and gotten a little payback for the extreme sauna session.
What can I say? The best revenge is served last.
Just like how ice cream is served last, right after lunch.
Unlike ice cream, there is more casualty in revenge.
SCP-682 versus SCP-3922. Who would win in this matchup between the indestructible reptile and the TV reality filter? 3922 is a small cylinder that, when placed near a television, will alter the content of any fictional material being played to include a battalion of heavily armed soldiers who proceed to arrest the characters in the film and try them for their crimes.
Judging by all the things the SCP has defeated and also the basic methods, I think we can all assume it's gonna be a no.
Foundation introduced 3922 to security footage of 682. The tape was then altered into a 72-hour military epic in which a coalition of soldiers, all played by deceased actors, attempted to terminate 682 over the course of the film. The film ends with a final remaining soldier, played by Patrick Swayze, alongside several gigantic primates staring down 682 and preparing to duke it out once and for all before a to-be-continued title card is displayed. Talk about a sequel hook. SCP-682 versus SCP-117. The hard-to-destroy reptile versus the perfect multi-tool. But can this ultra-convenient and somewhat vampiric gadget finally MacGyver this nasty lizard out of existence?
Feels like they're getting kinda lazy. They aren't even trying at this point.
Yeah, the designers probably didn't think anyone would make it this far.
The Foundation started with a sample test, using tissue extracted from 682's back and a D-class in charge of holding the multi-tool. The test looked promising. 117 produced a number of pneumatic hammers and pounded the 682 tissue sample into a fine slurry, then disintegrated the slurry into nothingness with particle beam weaponry, leaving the D-class it was being handled by with an almost deadly mineral deficiency. However, as you can probably guess, the test against the whole 682 lizard wasn't so successful. Rather than attacking 682, 117 produced a device that teleported itself and the D-class using it away, killing the D-class in the process. Test failed.
It ran. It literally ran. Oh my god.
You know you got yourself a problem when utensils starts to run away from you.
Anyway, that is it for now. This is almost a test-like video. I wanted to see if you guys like these kind of voiceover videos. There will be a poll and you can vote. The SCP video itself is going to be separated into 3 parts. It's going to be spaced out between my suggested videos. With that being said, goodbye, see you later, and have a wonderful day, you guys.